All right, parents, wanted to take just a minute and go over some things in this parent meeting topics that I would address in person with a parent meeting, but I can't guarantee that I'll be able to. So just want to go over a few things. We have the calendar of events for 2023. It says form signing day here, but the reality is that I'm probably going to transition to all digital for the Matthew Road forms. There are still going to be some forms that we need signed, but those are for camp and the mission trip specifically. I want to address my teaching plan for 2023. I'll tell you, it's going to be 1st and 2nd Timothy for the first part of the year. That'll probably get us through most of the year. At least the first half of the year. And then after that, we're going to move into we're probably going to focus heavily on discipleship. So that's why we're going to be in 1st and 2nd Timothy a lot. And then after that, we'll focus on some other passages of Scripture pertaining to discipleship, probably something to do with Jesus' relationship with his disciples, and specifically his disciples who he was particularly close with, like Peter, James, and John. So that's going to be the focus for 2023 is disciple making, and I'll explain more about that as we go through this. I want to talk about the camp that we're going to do, mission trip, other events, obviously, so we're going to get into all that, and some fundraising opportunities as well. Calendar of events that I wanted to go over, just kind of talk about some things. First things first, this tentative parent meeting may or may not happen. If it does, then this video will only serve as a helper to that. So we have the D Now weekend. If you haven't had your kids signed up yet, please take care of getting them signed up. I just submitted a shirt order to the other youth guys who are helping put this thing on. It's going to be a cool event. Obviously, we have the normal setup, so it's going to be worship at the Lake Church, breakout sessions on Saturday. We're going to have small groups here at the church on Friday night and Saturday night. So obviously really looking forward to that weekend, and I hope that I'm able to be a part of it, but we will see when baby Jack decides to be born. That's January, and then after that, January's pretty bare. Starting this new thing in this 2023 year, we're going to do these events 4 times a year. It's called Pizza and Outreach, so very, very basic. Obviously, the goal is to get people in the doors, into the student ministry. So the first things we'll do is we'll get to the church on the Friday nights that we do these events, and we'll have a quick devotional, and then we will go and eat pizza, obviously, and then go from here out to whatever location it is that we're going to have the event. Okay, so this one in particular is going to be free. 2 of them are going to be free, 2 of them are going to be paid, but it's going to be a quarterly thing. We're going to do 4 of them throughout the year, so we'd really love to get all of our students as involved as possible on this. It's just an opportunity to bring people in. This Super Bowl watch party, it says after church. I'm working with the people who are going to host it. And we will see. It's going to be at somebody's house. It may be that we actually have the students show up that Sunday to their house before church, and then we have the church service streamed in, and then after the church service, watch the Super Bowl instead of having to leave from church and go to a house and those types of things. So last year it was hosted at my house. We're not going to do that this year. We're going to host it somewhere else. Okay, but that's just 2 things to put on your radar here. I'm actually still working with a skating rink on this, so hoping that we can get things solidified pretty soon, but I haven't heard back from them 100%. So just so you know, that one may change location some, but no matter what, the event is taking place on that day. All right. Last year we had the girls go to this Therefore Gathering girls conference. They had a lot of fun with it, so we're doing that again. Actually found a conference that we're going to take the guys to on the same weekend. So have a conference option for guys and girls. So it'll be a lot of fun. So that is February. March is looking fairly bare at this point. Spring break service week, we've done this the past 2 years. It's been a really cool thing. Last year in particular, we had a lot of people who were participating in it. It was a lot of fun. So really looking forward to that. We're also going to kind of partner that. My plan is to partner that with some intentional evangelism training. And the hope with that evangelism training is that at some point throughout the year, we'll be able to kick off something called Evangelism Days, where the hope is that we'll have however many students are interested come to the church on a particular Saturday, so whatever works for the leader who wants to lead that Evangelism Day and whatever works for the students who want to be a part of that Evangelism Day. And the leaders will take the students to show them a place where they can do evangelism. So the hope is that we can kind of show our youth here at Matthew Road that evangelism doesn't have to be something that you do on a mission trip way off somewhere else, but it could be something that they can do actually here at home. So maybe going to a park and just talking to people about Jesus, maybe going to a mall, talking to people about Jesus, those types of things. So what that will look like exactly is yet to be kind of hammered out, but I just want to put that kind of bug in your ear as we get started through this year. April is obviously a busy month. We have Easter in April, so you have those dates here. The other thing is we're going to do a video game night, and that is the tentative date. It will probably be the 14th, but it's possible to move to the 21st. Who really knows? It's one of those things that's kind of fluid. So at some point in April, this is a big hit. Every time we've done it, we do video games and regular games at the church, and it's a fun opportunity to get some people in the doors who wouldn't normally come. So it's a cool thing. So that's one thing we'll do in April. This evangelism training for worship at the lake. So we're going to do we're hoping to do 2 worship at the lake events. Okay, so one in the spring here in April, and then of course one in September again, like we did last year. It was a lot of fun last year doing this worship at the lake thing. We had a great church member show out that night. It was a lot of fun. We also got to kind of tell some people about our church and tell some people about Jesus, so it was really cool. Somebody pointed out that something that would have been helpful for them would have been to have designated training for what it could look like to talk to a stranger about Jesus out there at the lake. And so that Wednesday night, we're going to try to host something for the whole church who desires to be a part of, so we can talk about what evangelism can look like with strangers. So we'll do that, and then that following Sunday night is in that worship at the lake would be. We'll also start on the next Wednesday, youth-led Sunday prep. So we're going to do a youth-led Sunday at the end of May, and that first night of training is going to be here on April the 26th, that Wednesday night. Okay, and then in May, what you have is youth-led training prep, and then you see youth-led Sundays, kind of bigger thing here. So here we go. So youth-led training prep, teaching. This one is going to be where in the youth room we're going to have the youth who want to be the teachers that Sunday during Youth-Led Sunday are going to get the opportunity to go to small groups with other people in their age group or in the youth group or whatever, and actually teach what they've been learning about. So that'll be a cool opportunity, and we'll do that 2 times, so kind of on a rotation, so that everybody will get a chance to have taught through what they're going to teach in Sunday school that following Sunday, the 28th, which is Youth-Led Sunday. So along those same lines, the week before that, the 21st, is going to be Youth-Led Sunday Observation Sunday. So you'll probably have maybe some of your kids in your Sunday school class. It'll be a cool opportunity for our kids to get in there and see what the other Sunday school looks like at the church. So Youth-Led Sunday is going to be really planned out and organized in that way so that we can have some good training, some good teaching opportunities for them. We want them to be able to go into that and feel really confident. This is the second pizza outreach. It's going to be at the Boulder Adventure Park. It's $45 a person, and that's because the Boulder Adventure Park is kind of expensive. I'm seeing if there's a way that I can get discounted tickets, but I haven't done much work into that yet. So, hopefully it'll be a good opportunity to do some more outreach. Again, come to the church, have pizza, do a devotional, and then head out and climb out the Boulder Adventure Park. That'd be cool. Summer kickoff here, out of school bash is what it is. I'm going to change it to where it's called summer kickoff and fall kickoff instead. So this is that event. It's going to be on campus that Wednesday night. Okay, and then we have June. Okay, so getting into the summer scheduling is obviously going to be the busiest time. So let's go over this real quick. First things first is the VBS week is going to be here. So if Jennifer hasn't announced that yet, my bad, but that's when it always is. So first week in June is the VBS week. We'll do the VBS Youth Hangout that week, so students are welcome to come to the church and spend time in service, getting things prepared, and also playing a lot of games. So this is when we do our Nerf wars and those types of things, so it's a lot of fun. Good opportunity for the kids to hang out. We always have a really good turnout of this hangout, so it's a lot of fun. The following week is going to be the mission trip, and the mission trip is going to be high school only again. This particular mission trip is put on by the Texas Baptists. It's called Bounce. It's disaster relief. This is like that says down here, hard. It's a hard work trip. This is not going to be an easy It is a really, really cool trip, and I'm really looking forward to this one. But that is going to be in June, and it is the week after VBS, so that's just something to have in mind, that it is that week after VBS. And I did that for a reason. This is a hard week, and this is not a super easy week, but having it back to back right here means that we have a few weeks in between the next thing, which is youth camp. There's this pool or lake day. I just want to do a couple of things where we either go to the lake and swim or go to somebody's pool, that type of thing, just for the summer. Have some fun there. But then we also have youth camp here in July. So it's going to be July 10th through the 14th. It's going to be intensity camp and at the Heart of Texas Baptist Encampment. It's put on by a couple of youth ministers, a couple of churches, and from what I've understood about it, it's a really, really good camp. It's a good opportunity for the kids to be poured into. They have their group of people who they train to do Bible studies and those types of things. They have camp pastor who's really good. He's going to be coming from the Iowa Park area, so it's going to be a really good thing. So it's called Intensity Camp, and that's going to be July 10th through the 14th, and I'll get you some more information on price and those types of things here in a second. Moving on through August, you have this pizza and outreach here. It's going to be a trampoline park. So Urban Air is what I'm looking at, and it's about $20 a person. So we'll just call it even at $20 a person. And so this is the second paid pizza and outreach. So again, process is come to the church, eat some pizza, do a devotional, and then we'll go out and do have some fun at the trampoline park. So that's another good opportunity to get some people in the door. We have this Wednesday night fall kickoff. I have had it on Fridays before, and the hard thing about doing the fall kickoff on Fridays is fighting with high school football. Football practice has already started. Football games have preseason or scrimmages have usually started, and so it's just a hard thing. So we're going to have a couple different things. So we'll have this one and this one right here at the beginning of the fall. The third thing that we're going to do in August is something that I'm going to start for this year, which is I'm going to encourage our kids to let's go to a couple of high school football games. So support our kids who are in band. We might even have some kids who are going to be playing sports, those types of things. So that's what we'll do here in August. Start it off. We'll pick a game. We'll tell everybody to meet us there, and we'll go to that game, and we'll support whatever students are at that game. Same thing in September and same thing in October. But here are some other things for September. The Worship at the Lake Fall event, obviously that's going to be there. And then you have the Worship at the Lake Fall. That's pretty much the same weekend. Last year we did it on the 23rd, but the way the calendar works is now we're going to do it on the 24th. So that is September. We have the football game. We'll decide that one. Audrey wants to do the Saturdays in September again. She really enjoyed that opportunity in 2021. We didn't get around to it in 2022. But that's a good time for her to host a Bible study for the girls, and so that'll be at our house. And then we'll have the women's symposium that in the middle of the month. So the girls can go to the women's symposium. That's what they've been doing the past few years, and then come back together for the last couple months there, or last couple weeks there in September. October, basically you can call this a fall outing. It's just something that we're going to do. Instead of just doing the fall party in the youth room, let's get out, have some fun, maybe find a pumpkin patch or something like that to go to. We'll do the fall party like normal, and then this is the third high school football game as well for October. November, I already have Mount Lebanon booked, so we're going to do our fall retreat out there at Mount Leb. It's going to be that weekend, same weekend as it has been, and if daylight savings time is still a thing by that time, then we will have that extra hour of sleep on the 4th going into that Sunday morning, the 5th. Friendsgiving was a big hit this year, so we'll host the Friendsgiving again. Caitlin did a great job planning that, so be looking forward to that in November. And then December, last pizza and outreach is going to be here the first week of December. It's going to be a bowling day, and that'll be a free opportunity, not anything that the students have to pay for. And we'll do the Christmas party as well. Usually it's in the youth room. I put that there because it probably will be, but if it changes, it changes, and we can adjust that. So that is the calendar. So you can see it on this form as well, which is the typical form you see with the medical releases, but I do have some news about the medical release. So I'm going to transition from medical release being physical copied to only being digital, and we're changing the form on the website from being the Forms tab that you normally would go to something different. It's going to be an embedded Google form, and I'll show you what this looks like because I actually already put it into the Student Ministry page. So if you just go to the Student Ministry page and you scroll down, you see the D-Now weekend right here. Right below it, you see the medical release form for 2023. Fill this form out. On here, it's going to be really, really cool. Click. Now you don't have to go through and click each thing. Just, yes, I agree that it covers all of them. And if your child can't go to that event, perfect. This is not signing them up for these events yet. This is just saying that this medical release form will cover those events. Parent, okay, now you go through this next and you can add the students. So there you go. It's going to clear it out here. So you add this and then you can go to, do you want to add another student? If you say yes, then it takes you to student number 2. If you say no here, let's go back. If you say no, you don't want to add another student, you're just signing up your own kid, perfect. It skips you ahead to this signature of consent, where you start with the consent forms and you work through there. So it's a lot cleaner process than the current form. So if you wouldn't mind, you can go ahead and go to matthewroad.org, go to the Student Ministry page, and you can fill out the medical release form for 2023 right now. And it will be good for the whole year, for all of the events that are listed. So that's something that you can go do right now for that. So here's some important dates to be aware of. D-Now, the payment's due by the day we do D-Now. So if you haven't paid for D-Now, please be ready to pay that. It's only $25, so please be ready to pay that by January 13th, okay? And these are the ways that it can be paid. The girls conference, guys conference, same thing. Just pay before the event. It's $40 for both, so yeah, just be aware of that. Pizza and Outreach, pay before the event. It's very simple because we're paying them once we get there, unless I'm able to get a group rate. But and if they get the group rate, then that's subject to change. Okay, but the mission trip, it's $290, and I need a deposit by March 5th because I need to guarantee spots because the final payment's actually due by May 1st. It's a $50 deposit if you want your kid to go to the mission trip, and it has to be paid by March 5th. Otherwise, that spot is lost because of the way that the deposits work with the Texas Baptist. Final payments due by May 1st, so that's important to know as well for the mission trip. Now this one's going to be the payment. It can be split into multiple payments. So the same thing for youth camp and anything that's bigger, or anything for that matter. It can be split up into multiple payments if you need to. That's not a problem, and I'll show you a form with that in here in a minute. The $50 deposit balance won't change. If you read this line here, the $50 deposit balance will not change, but the final balance could be lowered via fundraisers and a potential mission scholarships. Same thing with youth camp. $50 deposit by March 5th. And I know that's $100 if you have a kid going to both, but I need to get deposits. And the final payment isn't due until June because that's not, they don't require payment until the week before camp. So final payment, you have a little bit more time to pay this one out over time. But yeah, if you need to make multiple payments, that's not a problem, but the final balance has to be received by that payment due date. Same thing here, $50 deposit won't change, but the final balance could be lowered via fundraisers. And I'll explain the fundraisers here in a second. And then these same things. So there's the scholarship request form. If you need a scholarship, that's totally cool. Just need you to request it moving forward. And then likewise, if you would like to do a payment plan, that's totally cool. But let's work out a payment plan that we have on paper. If we need to extend it, we can work on that. That's no big deal. Just something that we can have kind of in place here. But these are the costs to be looking for, specifically for the mission trip and for camp. So I would really love to get our high schoolers involved here, this mission trip. So whatever we can do to make that happen, please let me know, and we will work to that end because I see this as a very valuable trip. Okay, and then obviously youth camp. I mean, youth camp. Tell your kids to bring their friends. Like, youth camp is a ton of fun, and this one that we're going to this year, I would have liked to gone back to the one that we did last year, but ultimately they raised their prices pretty significantly, and it was not possible to rebook that one. So just wanted y'all to know why we're doing something new this time. But this camp is good. I've talked to the guy who's running it. It's going to be a good thing. So there's that. Here's some new terms that I want you guys to be noticing before we start the new year. One, Wednesday night youth group, it's going to be called midweek, and the reason for that is because that's what the most other churches are doing these days. When I ask people, youth minister friends, what they call theirs, most of them came back with this answer right here. So it's just kind of to kind of stick with the trends, I guess, in youth ministry. So it's going to be called midweek. So when you start seeing those posts, don't be confused. Sunday morning is going to be called community groups. And so be looking forward to that. It's not going to be Sunday school anymore, so just community groups. Sunday evening will be community group as well. Now we have these discipleship making meetings as well, and this is where I'll explain my discipleship plan for this year. I called it IFAM, Intentional Discipleship. Intentionally focused, intentionally accountable, and intentional maturing. So this process of discipleship that we want to kind of establish here is obviously not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for the students who want to take their walk with Christ a little bit to maybe the next level, right? Where they're being held accountable to read the Bible throughout the week, that they're being held accountable to meeting and talking about Scripture with other believers. And so the way that this will look is for sure myself, for sure Caitlin, and then hopefully another leader or two of ours will have a group of students that they pour into, and this is going to be totally up to the students who sign up, but 3 to 4 students with one leader, and the meetings will all be in public places, either at the church, at a restaurant, at one of the students' homes, never at one of our own homes or anything like that, but one of the students' homes if a family is willing to host this. And what that time is going to be is a time to just talk about the passages of Scripture they've gone over for the week, what they've taken away from them, how they should translate Scripture, and those types of things. And the whole point of this is to encourage our students to take their walk with Christ really seriously and take that deeper commitment and walk closely with Jesus and spend time in His Word each day, something that I hope that we all do as well. So that's something to be looking forward to at some point in the year, probably after the first quarter. And the reason for that is because of the planning process and getting students interested in those types of things. But if you hear that phrase, IFAM, just know that it's my Joseph Corny name that I came up with for this intentional discipleship program. So I want to do a lead team pretty soon here. So these are some things that we'll work on throughout the year as well. So that's just something to kind of be aware of. Here's a list of our leaders. So you have me, and I'm the youth minister. And this is what I teach. You have Caitlin. She's the ministry associate for our student ministry. This is what she does. This is my sister, not my wife. This is my wife. And then you have these community group leaders on Sundays. So you have Nina and Audrey, who do the high school girls, Lance and myself, who teach the high school guys, Lance Golson. You have Christopher Howard and Doug King, who teach the junior high guys, Steve and Karen Wong, who teach the junior high girls, and you have Caleb Reeser, who does Sunday evening community groups as well. So, and him and Caitlin do that together. So that's their thing, is Sunday nights. It's a really good thing they have going. And then you have the Wednesday night midweek small group leaders, Nina, Brian, Caleb, Audrey, and Jonathan Phipps. And then you also have myself and Caitlin, of course, and we have assorted other volunteers who come in on Wednesday nights as well throughout the year. So that's a really good time, but I just want you all to be aware of who is leading and who is teaching. We have a really, really strong group of volunteers in our youth ministry, and I'm so thankful for them. And if you see them, please let them know how much you appreciate them also as parents, because they really do pour a ton into your students. They really do care a ton about what God is doing in this group and what God's going to do in each of their lives. So just be sure to show them some appreciation whenever you see them. The fundraising opportunities is the last thing, and here it is, the fundraising opportunities we have. We have two things. We have one is we're going to be doing a mulch sale like what Daniel did with his baseball team last year. It's the exact same program. We're just doing it for the youth group. And the mulch sales, there's a really good ratio and ability for the students to make some really good money that could potentially, has the potential to pay for their summer. So definitely something to consider is looking into that, and I'm going to announce more about that and release kind of the chart so that people can get selling and those types of things really soon. So be looking forward to that. The other thing is, last year we did a garage sale at the church, and this year we're hoping to do something like that again. So that'll be announced as well, but we will do another garage sale. And I'll have a point person for you on that very soon. Yeah, that's the year for 2023. And if we aren't able to meet before January, whatever, 10th or whatever, 8th, I think it is, then that, oh, it's right there on the screen, my bad. If we're not able to meet before January 8th or on January 8th, I want you guys to have these things in front of you. So I'm going to email this out. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to email this out, and I'm going to email it with the documents that I referenced in this so that you can look at these things also. Okay, so if you have questions, or if you need, for example, if you need a scholarship form, reach out to me. If you want to start getting your kids signed up for those events, that's totally cool. But the most important thing to do immediately is just run to the student ministry page on the website and fill this out. It's going to take you no time at all. So please just take a minute here and fill this out, and let's get as many people signed up as we can. This is just a really easy way. This agreement right here, it covers everything. So yeah, go to our website and knock that out. But beyond that, I'm really excited for what we are going to be doing in 2023. I think that God's going to continue to move in this group. So if you guys have any questions for me, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. That's totally fine. I'd love to hear from you and see what we can do about answering those questions and clarifying anything I need to clarify. Yeah, thank y'all for taking the time to watch this. I hope you paused it and did other things in between. That's totally fine. But all right, thank y'all so much. I'm praying for you guys. As parents, I'm praying for your kids, and really excited to see what God's going to do here. So y'all have a good one. Thank you.